Each afternoon, NVR Train 15, the Milk Train West, departs Franklin Yard for Adams, with a passenger combine and empty insulated milk cars for the daily milk run. The day begins with the hostler backing number 426 out of the Franklin Roundhouse and filling the tender with a full load of coal and water for the trip. Number 426 is a 280 consolidation-type steam locomotive that was built for the NVR by Montreal Locomotive Works in 1913, while building almost 200 locomotives for the Canadian Pacific. This workhorse is noted for its ability to move impressive loads at lower speeds. Once coaling is completed, the hostler moves the power to the Franklin Yard engine terminal lead, where the crew of Train 15 takes over. The locomotive will make its way through the Franklin Yard arrival track to the station track area where empty milk cars are waiting for the trip. In addition, a passenger combine is attached to the back of the train to pick up any revenue passengers traveling along today's route. The train is assembled by moving the two empty milk cars from the icing platform to the head of the combine that is waiting on the station tracks. Once the train orders are received and the departure time arrives, Train 15 departs Franklin Station with its consist through the yard, onto the West Y tracks, and heads westbound for Adams, with station stops for discharging and picking up passengers at Lincoln and Chateauguay before reaching its destination on the shores of Lake Champlain. At Adams, the train will pick up milk cars that have been loaded with milk cans for Boston prior to its arrival. To do this, the train must first be turned around through a series of moves that begins with turning the locomotive on Y tracks located at Adams. Once the power is turned, it makes its way through Adams to the station tracks, where the rest of the train is waiting. During this time, the westbound passengers have been exiting the combine, and eastbound passengers are beginning to board. The crew of Train 15 proceeds to move the loaded milk car picked up on the Adams Station stub track to couple onto the combine in the station tracks, thus forming the beginning of Train 16 for the return trip to Franklin. It then proceeds to move the waiting empty milk car that was originally left on a second station track to the milk platform stub at Adams. Any remaining milk cars that came in with train 15 are added to the head end of train 16's consist. At this time, the work of train 15 is completed, and train 16 eastbound for Franklin has been fully assembled in the station. Once train orders are received, train 16 departs Adams at the appointed timetable time with its passengers, loaded milk cars, and empty cars to be dropped off on the trip back to Franklin. A few miles later, train 16 reaches Chateauguay. The combine is spotted at the station platform for passengers to depart or board for points east. While this is happening, the locomotive crew works to remove loaded milk cars from the Merriam Creamery in Chateauguay and to spot an empty milk car to load for the next day's run. Because the creamery is located on a trailing point switch for eastbound trains, the switching moves are relatively straightforward without having to move the locomotive around the train. However, due to the close proximity of the station to the creamery siding switch, long trains must be broken up to occupy both the station siding and mainline tracks to avoid following the creamery siding switch for the creamery switching operations. After the work at Merriam Creamery is completed and the train is assembled on the head end of the combine, train 16 departs east with loaded milk cars. However, one more stop remains a few miles further at the small town of Lincoln. Lincoln is a small rural town without a creamery. A simple milk platform along the tracks is located east of the passenger station on the other side of a dirt road grade crossing. Picking up full milk cans and dropping off empty cans from yesterday's run is accomplished by setting out the combine at the Lincoln station and pulling the remaining train forward to the milk platform so that the grade crossing is not blocked. Empty milk cans for Lincoln, which have been placed on one of the loaded cars picked up at Adams, are removed by the milk agent at Lincoln and full cans placed in the milk car. When the milk cans at Lincoln have been loaded into the milk train, the train backs to the station to couple onto the waiting combine, which has completed its passenger operations. Once coupled and the air brakes connected and tested, the train is ready to depart on its final leg of the trip to Franklin. Once arriving, the Y at Franklin allows train 16 to back into the station to spot the combine at its final point in the journey. Once it is spotted, the combine is left behind, and the crew of train 16 pulls forward with the filled milk cars for switching to the milk car icehouse platform. The milk cans must be covered with crushed ice to keep the milk cold before turning them over to the B&M for its run to Boston on train 48, the daily run to the Hood Creamery in Boston. Along the way, B&M train 48 will add loaded milk cars and make other pickups until reaching Boston late at night. Once delivered, the Hood Creamery continues working all night, preparing and bottling the milk for the early morning customer deliveries by local milkmen to the Boston and surrounding communities. Later in the cycle, the B&M will move a train of empty milk cars back to Franklin on train 49, for the process to repeat all over again the next day. This process repeats every day of the year in a continuous and smooth operation to keep the river of milk flowing to the population of the Boston area.